This is the Beyond the Story podcast, a show that goes way beyond the story.
And now, Sebastian Ross.
Oh, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Hey, maybe welcome to the show because it's your first time. Either way, I'm glad you're here. Very special guest. Well, everyone is a very special guest, but this is a very, very, very special guest because I grew up with this guy. It is the one and only Mr. DJ mDot. What's happening, dude?
Man, it's happening. I am excited to be here, Seb. I know it's a Saturday. I know you have other things to do, but I'm glad that you asked me to be here, man.
I'm glad you got out of bed. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing that.
Especially after an 8 p.m. start last night, which means, well, in terms of Miami Heat game, I didn't get home until roughly about 1-something. I have to read in order to kind of go to sleep or have a glass of wine, so I didn't get into bed until about 2:30.
Wow. 2:30. I usually wake up 2:30 but get some water.
Okay.
Maybe. That's about the only time I'm seeing 2:30. You and I have seen some 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30 a.m. evenings.
Yes.
I remember I first moved back 12 years ago and discovered that you were like this hotshot DJ. You were with the Marlins at that time. Remember those days? Remember those days?
Yes.
We'd go to Joe Robbie. In fact, I didn't have a car.
Yeah.
We like met up halfway to like Joe Robbie. You scooped me up. You had an Explorer.
I did.
Yep. That was good times.
And you never gave me gas money.
I didn't have any gas money.
That was terrible.
I didn't have any gas money.
So I drove that Explorer, had to go pick your ass up somewhere, and you never hooked me up with gas money.
And then we went to the Marlins Mermaid show at Gulfstream. Those
were some days. Yeah, those were some good times.
I fell asleep in the club.
Yeah.
That was my first lesson in, okay, so if you're going to build a brand, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, you really can't because you are representation of myself, you know?
Right.
So.
Right. And I get that. Here we are some 12 years later. It makes absolute perfect sense. I give those talks to some young folk, if you will. So you and I met in 7th grade, maybe even, no, not 6th grade, because I didn't go to Hammocks Middle School in 6th grade. 7th grade was my first year. Tama came to Miami to go to UM. My mom followed her down, and she went to work at the Miami Seaquarium, and I later on followed her down here, went to Hammocks for 7th grade. You and I met and were like inseparable. We were just like one of those things where you meet when you're kids, and you're like, hey, you're my best friend. You're like, you're my best friend. All right, cool. Let's go do everything together and spend every waking hour together, which we literally did. And to the point of you waking me up with my own drum set.
There you go.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I'd be out cold. You'd be like, tap. You know what it's like to be woken up by a drum set that's right next to your bed?
I had to get some practice in, bro. You know, I was an elite drummer at the time, so I had to get some practice in. You know, and I didn't have a drum set at my house, so shit. You know, you had yours. I got to get some.
You eventually got one.
Yeah, but I mean, I got the little cheap version that my mom could afford.
Cheap version. Mine were like 2 repurposed snares as tom-toms.
Yeah, you had the church drums. But the church that was on the budget, not like the you know.
Do you know what happened?
The Calvaries and the big churches now. No, you had like the cheap. You know, the small congregation, like 15 people.
Right.
And, you know, they barely had enough.
Everyone chipped in for the drum set. You know what happened to that? Susie sold that drum set one summer that I was away.
Probably.
Yeah. I came back. I'm like, where's my drums? She's
probably
like,
to teach
not
us
here
a
anymore.
lesson.
Not here anymore.
Yeah, she was probably over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, the drums are not here anymore.
Speaking of this aquarium, man, we had to hook up, didn't we, during summertime?
Yeah, because we had the movie pass at Wometco.
My gosh.
We did. We went to movie after movie after movie.
And let it be known, like, I'm not sure if I've ever told this story, but Sebastian, his house, well, he knows, they had the most amazing snacks, okay? And I wasn't allowed to drink soda in my house for the most part. Like, it's not that I wasn't allowed, it's just that my mom wouldn't go out and buy that. That's not something we would buy. She would buy, like, Jungle Punch or something like that. If you're from that era, you know, the Jungle Punch. But Sebastian, like, they always had like the Cokes, and they were like chill.
In a can.
In the can. They were just like perfectly chilled. And I would go over his house and just have a field day on snacks.
Yeah, it was good. We'd have snacks just as a meal.
Yeah, because at my house there were no such things as snacks. It was like, you want a snack, boy? You better get your ass in there and get this peanut butter and jelly and call it a day.
Peanut butter and jelly is still a good time though.
Yeah.
As
for the
much
most
top
part.
raw. I got to a point that I was such a low point. I was like 20 years old, 19 years old. I did Spam, top ramen noodles, and hot sauce.
Yeah,
That was all that was in the cabinet.
Were you ever in prison? That's like prison food, bro.
I've not. I went to jail one time for soliciting door to door, and that was enough for me to realize that I never wanted to go back. That's not really the place for me.
Speaking of peanut butter and jelly, do you like the mix, the combined version? What is it called?
No, I have to get. I'm a peanut butter diva.
Okay, so you actually add more peanut butter than jelly.
No, I like to eat the peanut butter that's not filled with all kinds of like crazy oils.
Goobers. That's the name of it.
Yeah.
That's the one that's combined.
Right.
I'm a fan of that.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay. I no, because if you eat cheap peanut butter, you feel like you ate peanut butter. But if you eat like good, like
What's considered good peanut butter?
just peanuts.
So not Jif or anything like that.
No. If you look at all the ingredients, you got like hydrogenated oil, which gives you that funky.
See, this is the California in you because you lived over in Cali, so you got the whole organic thing going for you. Like, come on, man, break it down for me. Like,
It could be.
I'm from the block in Kendall.
It could be. I am
The
too.
same block you're from until your ass
I am
moved out
too.
to California and got all.
I just I did try to save the world out
You
there.
got all rich on us. You know, you're driving your $100,000 car out there in Cali. You're living in your $400,000 house.
That didn't last long.
Hey, it lasted though.
It was there. It worked out for a while. I had a good run in California.
Well, there you go.
It was a 10-year vacation.
Right.
You ever heard that commencement speech called "Don't Forget the Sunscreen"?
No.
Okay, so
I'm black.
there's a line in it that he says, "Move to New York City one time in your life, but leave before it makes you hard. Live in Northern California once in your life, but leave before it makes you soft." And that's so true about both parts of the country on there, Northern California and
New York would definitely make you hard.
I want to move to New York.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So the first time I ever thought about, with that being a possibility was when I went to the New Brooklyn a couple years ago. I was with Jamie, and we were a special guest for Demi Lovato and Nick Jonas's concert. They wanted us to come out and perform at the Barclays Center. And I had never been to the New Brooklyn area. So I've been to New York several times, probably over 50 times. And I had never been to that new area. And it's completely amazing. It's super nice. And that was the first time I said to myself, you know what? I can see myself living in New York if I were to live in the New Brooklyn.
Like Park Slope. Yeah.
It's crazy. Like over where the Barclays Center is, but it's hella expensive. It's like living,
What's the new
in
Manhattan?
Brickell.
It's the poor man's Manhattan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it looks absolutely amazing.
All the hip kids live in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Well, it's spread love. It's the Brooklyn way.
Yeah, but it's not the Brooklyn that Biggie was talking about.
No,
This is
a little different.
Is way
Oh,
different.
so you mean Williamsburg, Brooklyn is different than Biggie's Brooklyn?
Much different.
No, it's changed. I mean, I would say over the past 10 years, and they were going to close. I think it's the Green Line that goes over into Brooklyn. That was going to cause all kinds of mayhem because everyone and their brother. I don't know what they ended up doing with that. It was supposed to close for like 2 years. Have you ever been on the New York subway?
I've taken it a couple times.
Yeah,
Just
so
to do
I've
it.
never been more confused in my life.
Yeah.
And if you ask a New Yorker for directions, no one knows where they're going. It's
Right.
amazing.
I went on the subway on one of my trips, and I was with a person who was from New York. So luckily, I kind of got the whole. We're gonna get off on this stop. We're right to this destination. We'll get off. We'll walk around a little bit. We'll get back on.
Have you ever seen a map? Have you ever seen a map?
No.
It makes your brain hurt to look at it.
I can imagine.
Unbelievable. It's like an underground city.
Yeah, but it's super cool.
It really, really is hot though.
It's a good experience.
Hot though. Oof.
And you meet some characters on there. Some really talented people too in the subway.
You watch way too much Jimmy Kimmel.
No, actually, I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel.
It's not
at all.
Kimmel. It's who's Justin's buddy? Timberlake's
Oh,
buddy.
Fallon.
Fallon. There we go. I always get him confused. I think Fallon's funnier than Kimmel.
Fallon's amazing.
Yeah. He doesn't shit on Trump as much as Kimmel does.
They all kind of do at the end of the day, but
Sure. Well, they don't. The people
Fallon's pretty cool.
the people who write their jokes do.
Yeah.
Have you seen what was that? Oh, that's an actual movie on Netflix that was I forget the name of it now, but it shows it showed the main character is a night show host like Letterman or Fallon, right? And it shows what goes into each night's episode as far as writers are concerned. And there's a team of, say, 10 to 12 writers that are legit writing his entire evening and trying ideas out and some making someone. And then the host doesn't even know what they are until like 2 hours before. And like everything will be on the prompter and they have no creative control over that stuff.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
There's Saturday Night Live, in order to get that weekend update, I think they write close to 500 jokes. 500 to get that weekend update, which is like a 5-minute bit?
Maybe.
They're not telling 500 jokes.
Right.
It's just crazy. I love that creative side, though. It's like, what does it take to like actually get to? We were just talking about YouTube a few minutes ago and how like the great acronym is how you actually shape that makes noise when you do that.
Yeah, I won't do that again.
And how an actual YouTube video comes together, but it's the same way anything does. If you've seen a episode of Seinfeld never actually ends at the very end. You stick around for the credits. Why? Because chances are Seinfeld's going to say something crafty.
I've never watched Seinfeld.
I haven't either.
Have you watched Martin?
I have watched Martin.
Okay, cool. Yeah. That's something I can talk about.
I have not seen. I've never seen an episode of Friends.
Neither have I.
Yeah. And people are hooked on. I just can't get into it. It's a different type. It's a different type of comedy. I don't know why. But then I can watch Napoleon Dynamite and roll on the floor. It's good stuff. Napoleon Dynamite. Speaking of movies, Jack Nicholson's a fan of the show. I keep telling him he needs to get a podcast. You know what he told me?
I eat breakfast 300 yards from 4,000 Cubans who are trained to kill me, so don't think for 1 second that you can come down here, flash a badge, and make me nervous.
All right, Jack. Settle down, buddy. Settle down. He gets a little antsy, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Probably.
You can't handle the truth.
Probably hasn't had his coffee yet. You know, it's kind of early on the West Coast.
This is true. Does he live in L.A.? Oh, yeah.
Of course he does.
I mean, who doesn't?
He's an avid Lakers season ticket holder.
That's exactly what my mind automatically went to Lakers fan.
Yeah, the guy's there every game.
Speaking of Lakers, how about this, dude? Kobe Bryant.
Oh, yeah, that was
unbelievable, dude.
Unbelievable.
You know what stuck out? I told you I was watching Skip and Shannon during Super Bowl week.
Skip.
He's a swell guy. And what really stuck in my mind was that he said, you know what, if it can happen to Kobe, none of us are immune. Like, appreciate and love every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be grateful for where, but it was, it's always, Gary Vee talks a lot about, he's doing this for his legacy, right? What are people, how many people, standing room only at his funeral, what are people going to say once his legacy is in place, et cetera? And it was really great to see how Kobe showed up to this world. Life was cut short, but hey, when the good Lord pulls your number, nobody's negotiating or arguing with it.
No,
you're out. But to see the legacy that he did live, and I think the consistent conversation that I heard was Kobe's life on the court and off the court.
Right.
Right.
And with us being fathers, it hit home a little bit harder, and I like listening to all the stories of him off the court, because I'm a basketball fan. I've played basketball my entire life, so I'm very well aware of his accomplishments on the court.
Right.
But hearing these stories about him off the court, like the type of father he was and the type of husband he was, and doing these things for kids, and how he was the champion for the women's game, and that stuff just amazed me and made me realize there's a lot more work I need to do, man.
For sure. Well, I think his legacy will continue to live on through the Mamba Academy, and I think lives will continue to,
of course,
to be shaped and molded, and his legacy and Gianna's legacy live on through that organization. So beautiful tribute. Michael Jordan was just what Michael Jordan is, man. Just a stellar human being, and to watch him just cry his eyes out and crack jokes, and it was awesome.
That was shocking because we don't see that side of Mike. Never. Like
the crying meme was hilarious.
When his father passed, there were no cameras involved. There was no social media. That was So we've never seen Mike in that capacity.
Well, that meme went around for years of him crying. So they've seen it before.
Well, that was from something else. I'm not sure where that meme, resonated from, but like we've never seen Mike deal with death like that for the most part. Because remember when his father passed, that was like in the 90s or something, and there was no social media back then. And
that shit
it
was
like,
crazy too.
That was swept kind of under the rug. Like, yeah, we knew he was mourning and whatnot, but he wasn't mourning openly in public for the most part. And then we see him, deal with that Kobe thing, and we're like, you know what? Shit, Mike's human.
I read
Mike's
about
just like us.
I read about his first divorce, and boy, she cleaned up.
Oh,
my
Juanita,
gosh.
Juanita's
Yeah,
her name.
Juanita, God
Yeah.
bless. I remember the old VHSs we'd have of like
Yeah.
Michael Jordan and his mom shooting hoops with him and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I read something that was like he was young and not naive, but wasn't as wise as he is now. And now he's married to like a chick that's like 25 years younger than him or something like that. And there's like a special arrangement. He's like, I'm not going through that again. But in the event anything didn't work out, she's still good if it hasn't worked out. But I forget where I read it the other day. It was just random somewhere on the internet.
You know, that's one of my childhood friends.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That married him?
She went to school with us, bro.
No.
I promise you. She's the reason I met Mike.
You met Mike?
Yes.
Oh,
That's one of our childhood friends. Yvette Prieto. She went to school with us.
it sounds familiar.
Yeah.
She on Facebook?
I'm not sure if she's on Facebook now, but she went to school with us, man.
How did she meet Mike?
I'm not sure. Somewhere, you know.
At a casino?
Apparently-
All right.
I'm not sure how she met him, but yeah, I'm not gonna. She's still when I saw her and Mike in L.A. for the All-Star game, probably about 5 or 8 years back. I can't remember exactly. My memory's is shit, but we were in the Beverly Hills. I think it was a Hilton maybe or one of those hotels, and we're both waiting for the elevator at the same time. And she saw me and she recognized me. She's like, "Hey, Mike, what's going on?" And she introduced me to Mike, and you know, look at the sneakers I'm wearing now. So I'm always wearing some kind of Jordans. And she was like, "Hey, you know, he's the one that also does the Heat games." And I met him, and he's like, "Hey, young man." He's like, "Nice shoes you got on." And then that was like my highlight of my life. And I'm like, "Oh, that's crazy. This is good."
I think he's made more money with his Jordan brand than he ever did with basketball.
Well, because basketball back then, the salaries were, you know.
But he
I
still
think
killed it, though.
I think his last year with the Bulls, he maxed out at like 30 mil that season.
Is that it?
Exact. That's one season. I know, right? But that was like accumulated over, you know, that was like, we've been paying you shit for, you know, your entire career. So your last season here, we owe you. We'll give you all of this.
Right.
Because we owe you for the most part.
Right.
You know. So
He's enjoying retirement. Cigars, golf, playing some cards.
and owning a basketball team.
Oh, yeah. He does own a basketball team, doesn't
And
he?
like he's really, really involved
Like
in that.
Mark Cuban style.
He's damn near just as aggressive as Mark Cuban. Because
Mark's the best.
Mark will literally cuss your ass out when you come back to the bench after you get a terrible play. He'll literally.
I
cuss
mean,
you
if
out.
you own the team, I mean, come on. Hey.
but hearing that from Mark, who's a businessman, and hearing it from Mike, that's two totally different.
Oh, yeah, that's
areas,
true.
You know,
That's true.
like if you hear it from Mike, you're like, okay, that's Michael Jordan.
The GOAT
Like,
told me. Yeah,
yeah, that's the
GOAT
greatest
corrected me.
player. You know, like the guy. You know, so hearing that from Mark is like, okay, you're a businessman, bro. Have you ever played a lick of basketball in your entire life? You know,
Because I play some street ball. I play at my house, on my court at my house.
yeah.
You seen that guy's boat? Excuse me, that's not a boat. That's a yacht.
Oh, man.
Mega yacht.
Yeah.
He parks it over there behind the children's museum.
I wouldn't doubt it because he was here last night. I saw him
Oh, really?
for sure. He played Dallas last night. He travels with the team. Mark's that guy. I'm not sure if Mike travels with the team. Mark travels with the team.
He's getting his money's worth. You know
Mark
what I mean?
is definitely invested in. No matter what other businesses he has, this is the leading one.
So, speaking of that, what year is this with the Heat for you?
This is year 12.
Nice.
Number 12.
So this
Yeah,
is
man.
I mean, you really carved out your niche in the celebrity DJ world. Not, there's a lot of DJs out there, but not everybody gets to have a pretty consistent gig for well over a decade with a professional basketball team like the Miami Heat in a city like Miami.
Right.
And then, of course, forging a relationship with the one and only Mr. Jamie Foxx. Even before that, I'd say it's working out all right as a DJ for you. I mean, you're not doing weddings and bat mitzvahs anymore. It's
No, but I actually have a wedding next week. I'm actually doing a wedding next week.
Well, you dabble in weddings.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean, if it's a young couple and someone that I know, I'll do that because that's kind of cool.
Right.
You know, it's not like there's no pressure in doing their wedding as opposed, there's a lot of pressure when you do someone's wedding who you never met before, and you got to cater to the age is from 8 to 85.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
You know? So this young couple's like, hey man, we've known you. We see you at the games. Like I know this guy who's getting married, the groom. I know him from Naples. He's like, bro, I party with you at clubs. I want mDot. Like,
Right.
I'm like, of course. So yeah, I'll do your wedding, So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so that makes sense, though. I mean, you're not doing. I guess my point is, you're not doing, weddings to survive as a DJ.
No,
you've really carved your niche out there and really been exposed. You and I talk all the time, and I ask questions like I'm 5 years old. What's Jamie's house look like? But being exposed to that type of lifestyle in that world is it's got to be unique. I'd like to think. I mean, it's constantly people just at you. I mean, just nonstop. So there's like tricks to the trade.
Right.
We were talking about Jamie flying commercial, like some kind of animal. They're like, he puts a hoodie on and some sunglasses, no problem.
Yeah, but also when you're elite like that, you have that elite status. You don't board the plane the same time.
Right.
Everyone else boards the plane.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, you don't wait in the waiting area where everyone else will.
Right.
So you and I could be sitting first class, but we're not going to be waiting to board the plane with him. He's in some special,
okay,
American Airlines room.
Right.
I don't know, VIP lounge.
Right.
Probably by himself or with a very few limited people, or of that same status. Or
what about like restaurants and stuff like that?
That's most restaurants. Like when we go to restaurants, man, people are pretty chill for the most part because they. But then you have people that come up and say things and want to meet him and say hi and whatnot.
Yeah, sure, Brenda. I'll stop eating for a photo op.
That's the thing about people have to realize. Like it's. I understand how we're obsessed with pop culture and celebrities and stuff like that. But like when you're eating, like you should probably wait till like the person's done. Not like, hey, let me go ask Sebastian for a picture right now while he's, he got a fork in his mouth. He's mid-chew. That's just kind of, I don't know. That's just, I don't know, common courtesy, right? Wouldn't that what you expect?
Sure.
But he's a cool guy, man. He talks to everybody, and he has his fan base is pretty wide. You got the older people who appreciated him and Ray, and you got the younger people who like what he's doing with Beat Shazam and stuff. So, we'll be somewhere eating or somewhere out, and you'll have a 70-year-old come up to him and say, hey, that was a great thing you did in Ray, even though Ray's 10 years old. I
loved you in Living Color.
Well, then you have people our age that's like, hey, Living Color was crazy.
He's just so fucking good.
I've always said that, and when people ask me about him, I'm like, we all are born with some kind of God-given talent. You agree with that?
Oh, 100%.
Cool. Yours is to relate and connect with people on the microphone. You can engage, not relate, you can engage and connect with people on the microphone. I think I have that same characteristic, There's some kind of special arrangement that he has with God that we don't have. Like God gave you these 3 things that you do amazing. He gave me these 5 things I do amazing. He gave him 3 pages full.
I know.
And it's just, I'm not sure what you're.
We got comic, actor, rapper, singer.
I wouldn't say rapper. I would say R&B artist.
Okay.
So I would say.
Oh yeah, I was thinking Gold Digger, but Kanye did all the rapping.
Kanye did the rapping. Yeah. So you have
R&B singer and piano player
and
extraordinary.
Piano player.
Oh, good.
Because remember, he went to college, to play the piano, as well as
I did not know that.
TV host, as well as radio.
Excellent on Shazam.
So it's like I mean, come on, man. You're not supposed to have, as well as just a host in general. Like a lot of these one-off things we're doing, Sebastian, there's big companies that are like, hey, man, we want you to come and host, our event for 30 minutes to an hour. So he brings me and we go along and he's hosting this event, but it's really just, he's a master of ceremonies, man. He's out there having a good time. So
corporate cash.
Oh my gosh. So
the corporate cash. So, totally lost my train of thought. I'm very, very, very rare. Am I at a loss for words? I was, it was something else pertaining to Jamie. Maybe I'll come back to it. Have you guys ever gotten mobbed when you've been out?
You know what always
Get the car, Em.
No, you know what always no, well, here's the thing about when you're out, and Jamie don't really roll security like that. So here's one rule I've learned when we're out. You better make sure your ass is in the car before he's in the car.
Oh.
So when it's time to head out, don't be the person behind him trying to, hang out and hey, cool. No. When he says it's ready to hang out, you see him getting up, you shoot to the car first. You get your ass in the car because you can't keep him up. Like, like
He can hold you up, but you can't hold him up.
You can't hold him up because he's the principal. Like he's the talent. He's the millionaire, the multi-millionaire.
I was about to say, but why was it multi?
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
For sure.
I mean, easy.
Yeah,
I just use millionaire because it's.
So has he ever publicly addressed this, or is that just like
no? That's just something. I remember being in the car before. I remember, and then someone held him up, and he hit the MFs and all that, and I was like, yeah, I'll make sure that would never be me. And the person that held him up was on some shit like, oh, let me try to pull off and talk to this little chick over here real quick and see what was going on. And he's ready to go.
Right.
You should have did that 15, 30 minutes prior to that. You should have had that conversation. But I learned that that's not the thing to do. And
he was out and about in Miami, boy, over, what was it? He was here for New Year's.
Yeah.
Out, for a while. He made the rounds. Yeah, he was here for a minute, too.
Yeah.
But just out chilling, like Prime 112, hanging out.
Yeah, we went to Prime, I think, 3 nights. Him and Miles are like.
I was going to say, Miles got a good thing going.
Miles is the man. Like, I know Miles because of him.
Right.
So if I were to go to Prime, like, let's say you want to go to Prime.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm Jamie's guy. Boom.
Yeah. I went for the first time last year for a birthday dinner, and it was fire.
Yeah, and one of those nights, I mean, you got 50 Cent in there.
Yeah,
it was with 50 and Jamie, and yeah, Prime is that place, man.
That is, he's got an empire. He's got Prime Italian, Prime Hotel, Prime Fish, Big Pink.
Yeah,
Miles is doing a thing or two,
but I think most people hit the Prime 112.
Well, and Italian's pretty popular too.
I'm sure the Italian's popular too, but like the more of the I hate the urban word. I hate that.
It's
classification.
It's the place to be to see and be seen.
And it's I mean, because look at the vibe. Look at the atmosphere. So if you're an artist or a movie star or something like that, like you're in there, you listen to something. It reminds me of like what is it? What's the place in California? We just ate. I can't remember. It'll come to me. But the vibe is like the food's amazing. Number one, you got that kind of like cool soul food, like real good, and then you got hip hop and R&B not blasting, but playing in the background. Like that's hella dope. Like an STK for the most part.
Right. Yeah,
so
it's not like good steakhouse.
I don't know if Italians like that. If Prime Italians like that.
I've not been. It's directly
I highly
across.
doubt they're playing 50 Cent in Prime Italian. Right?
It's directly across the street.
It's across, but I highly doubt they're probably playing 50 Cent and like Gold Digger in Prime Italian.
My buddy's been a bartender there since God spoke to Moses. I went to high school with him.
Oh, good for him, because I know he's killing.
Oh yeah, I'm like that's like a career gig right there, boy.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
you don't leave that.
Not even a little bit.
No, man.
So what's up with what's next with Jamie? He just randomly calls you and is like, "So we're doing this next. Get on a plane."
So now
he doesn't call, does he?
Rarely. Yeah. He only calls when it's last minute and he forgot. So for example, there was an event I had to do in California. I went to Cali like 3 times, and I think it was twice in November, 1 in December. So I remember I had a Heat game, and he called. He personally, he called me on my phone. I pick up, "What up, Fizzle?" Like, "Yo, I'm done. It was last minute, but we got to, I got this thing I got to do over here in California." There was this big, charity event for the most part.
I remember
with the guy Ted. I can't remember Ted's last name, but Ted from Netflix.
Okay,
he's married to and then that was the same day I ran into DiCaprio. So it was
Uh,
that event.
Okay.
Really, really big event, with all those CAA.
So he doesn't call you a lot. So when your phone goes off and it says Fox on the caller ID, what goes through your head? I'm getting fired.
No, never. No. It's what goes through my head is that it's something that he forgot.
So he's not calling to ask about the weather.
People didn't know. That is, people didn't reach out to me about, because they probably didn't even know about it.
Right.
And someone from the office had to remind him, and he hit me at the last minute.
You ever thought about replying with something like, Jamie, of course I got you, but it's going to cost you.
Well, it always costs.
I know that, but I'm like, I'm gonna charge you double this time because it's last minute. Okay.
No, because
don't let this shit happen again.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I get paid handsomely.
Yeah, you can still, listen. What is it? Don't squeeze an elephant until it farts.
No, I get paid handsomely. I know I'm a stack up on
hogs get slaughtered, lambs live forever.
Right. Yeah, so I don't mind that. So I do 10, 15 gigs a year with that. That's cool, man. I'm all right.
It is, and it's just great to be in great company, and you've probably forged some incredible relationships, huh?
Yes. That's the coolest thing. The coolest thing about it. I remember his one of the best compliments I ever got in my entire life came from his former manager. He was like, "Yo, mDot, a lot of people have talent, man. Like, but he's like, you know what separates you? He's like, you're a good ass dude." And I was like, you know what? I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Did that
get you a long way in Hollywood?
Me to like, to where I'm at now?
Sure.
Like that shit. Am I where I'm at now because of that?
100%.
Yeah, talent can help you get to a destination, but like, yeah, being a good person and people seeing that,
well,
it's kind of cool.
Hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle.
Yeah, for sure.
Love that quote.
I remember people people ask me all the time, "Why are you always smiling?" I'm like, "I'm happy, dude. I'm blessed. Like
Sure.
I wasn't supposed to fall into this. Like,
we woke up today. We're already ahead of the game.
Yeah, I fell into this business and I'm doing well. Like, I get to hang out with cool people like that, and I don't have to punch a clock, and yeah, that's cool, man.
Do you have any idea why the Biebs was at the Heat practice facility yesterday? He was balling it up with what's his nuts? Not Bad Bunny. The other guy looks just like him. Nicky Jam. No, not him. Jay Balvin. There we go.
I didn't see that. I just saw the picture.
My
that
boy
he had.
Rick is Rick. He's Jay Balvin's manager.
I just saw the picture that Justin posted with the Vice jersey, but I didn't know that was in Miami.
That was in the Heat locker.
It didn't seem like it.
Yeah.
No, it didn't seem like it was in the practice facility.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it was on the court.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it was last night because I sent it to Kayla because she was going to be, because Rick is now Jay Balvin's assistant, and he used to be a camp counselor over at Calvary when Kayla would go to camp. And see if I can.
See, this is not inside the arena.
No, that's not it. No. There's another one.
So who posted it? It's not on the story.
It was
Justin Bieber, 128 million followers.
Yeah, he's killing the game. He broke Elvis's record.
My gosh, man, the kid's amazing.
The Biebs did. Okay, here we go. This is Rick. For those of you tuning into the podcast, we'll drop this picture in the show notes.
Oh, that is, yeah.
So that was yesterday. The Biebs was just playing some basketball, but it was with.
But that's nighttime too.
I know.
So I wonder. We had a game last night.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
So did he sneak up? And that's the old picture. Did he was he playing upstairs when we were having a game downstairs? Last night was a star-studded event.
You don't think he could pull that off?
I'm sure he can because he's the Biebs. Plus his concerts. See, here's the thing about that. Like you got to end, number one, because you're Justin Bieber. Number two, your concert is going to be at the American Airlines Arena, which we just released that. So you have access to stuff like that because you are who you are, and you're doing a concert there.
I took Kayla a few years back to the Bieber show, and little punk made us wait 2.5 hours before he came out on stage.
Hey man, the kids come on, man.
Listen, 2.5 hours. They were filming a DVD. That was the explanation for that.
Yeah. And speaking of last night, again, last night was a star-studded event because there were so many celebrities in the building. Every reggaeton artist was there. You had Anuel, Carol G, De La Ghetto, and of course Bad Bunny. So that last night was really, really.
What do these guys rap about?
I'm not sure
because these guys are killing the game. I mean, I heard they're just worldwide. Nicky Jam's the only one that I've learned a little bit about because I guess he had a fall from grace too, and was overweight and was just made bad lifestyle choices and actually kind of derailed his career. Went to Colombia, resuscitated it, and brought it back to the U.S. and it blew up.
Yeah, it blew up. But he also blew up when there was a time where, so when he came back, reggaeton, but this is also like social media era too, which helps you blow as an artist. Goodness. You know what I'm saying? He came back at the perfect time, you know, and his career was like rejuvenated because, you know, he was a badass artist as well as all these social media platforms that help you excel.
Oh yeah,
and the streaming and all this other stuff. Like,
well, there's no more Mother May I with the music industry.
Right.
You're not trying to sell CDs.
Right, but just look at how social media has helped people like that. Like, for example, right now I'm searching Bad Bunny on Instagram.
He's killing it too.
21 mil.
Unbelievable.
21 mil followers.
But listen, it's so much bigger than the artist's brand. Do you understand that actual platform, even Jamie's platform,
Nicky Jam, 36 mil.
That platform, that deal with Privé, they know for a fact that because Jamie's wearing their product and that he talks about it on his social media platforms, they are going to sell glasses.
Mm-hmm.
I bought these glasses because I think they're cool, but I also think Jamie's cool. And I knew you had a pair too. And, you know, we're getting older here, so we got to protect our eyes from the blue light on our computer screens all day. But, you know, that's a great example that, you know, well, Jamie's a talent in general. Jamie and I actually have something in common.
What's that?
Jeff Applepoff both produced our show. Well, it's not really my show. I was just on the show. It was on Fox. Take Me Out. Remember I went and humiliated myself on national television trying to find love?
I do.
Yep.
How'd that work out for you, buddy?
I did not get a date, and I had to Wave to America while All By Myself played.
What the people really want to know was, what was the check like? Because you don't do that for free.
Yeah, no, I made $250.
Ooh, gas money.
That was the hardest $250 I ever made. But you know, Mike, I didn't do it for the money at all.
You sure as hell didn't do it for love either.
I didn't do it. Well, no, because I fell in love, air quotes. Before the show, there's a lot of preliminary stuff and meetings and whatnot. I had to go meet Jeff, and Jeff, even though he lives in Boca, wanted to meet in New York with the other producer. I guess he's like, him and this guy tag team shows. They go in, they film them, they sell them to the network, and they crush, just like they're crushing right now with Shazam. So Take Me Out was the next show. So like, listen, I had to fly to New York for the day. So I did that. I met with Jeff for like 5 nanoseconds. And then I ended up getting on the show. They never tell you you're on the show. They just fly you to LA. And next thing you know, you're going into a studio. But I got to fly to New York for the day. And when I was coming back, I met a girl boarding the plane. And we started to date while I was going on the show. And she was cool with it. And then we had to fly to LA with Kayla to create the package of like, well, which pretty much humiliates you on reality television. Like that's the goal of.
How many seasons did that show last?
It didn't. It went like 6 weeks, I think.
Oh, so just...
However, I got the opportunity to meet and work with George Lopez, who was, talk about another funny individual. And I'll never forget Jeff coming into the room to all of the guys and saying, "Listen, when you're on stage, George Lopez is a seasoned comedian of over 25 years. Do not, under any circumstances, try to be funnier than him."
So basically, don't try to outshine.
Right, exactly. The host that's on there. So it was a good time. It was I got the opportunity to know what it was like to actually film on it in a soundstage on a Fox backlot on a primetime show, 9 p.m. Thursday night on Fox with George Lopez. It gave me a vision of what's possible. And it also reminded me how cold it is in those studios.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And that's...
you ever try to clap with those frozen hands?
No, and that's all day.
Yeah. We got in there. They wheeled us in there at 9:30 in the morning, put us in a green room about the size of this studio.
Yeah.
and we all just kind of looked at each other. We had
With
no
like
idea.
some nuts, an apple.
Yeah.
Some
Well, no, they
volleyball.
did cater to our needs pretty well. We're hungry. Like, here's some pizzas. Like, their job was to babysit us because we weren't allowed to see the girls, and the girls were like down the hall. So George had his own little setup and did whatever George wants to do, and they put us, like 12 of us, in a room this size.
That's funny.
George has his own room, and then the girls are, I don't know, they probably had 2 rooms for the girls because they had clothes and wardrobe and the whole nine. So they would rotate us through. We shot, they bulk shoot like crazy. So we started shooting at 11 in the morning, and we shot 4 weeks. So we shot 4 episodes.
Oh, nice.
And I was on episode 4, which filmed at 11 p.m. So imagine coming in here right now, and then sit here until midnight, and then we're going to go film.
Oh, wow. You tripping.
It was a little crazy.
Yeah,
But
you tripping.
I'll never forget, I looked at Jeff when we got done with wrapping the show, and he's like, "Thanks, everybody." And I go, "All right, Jeff, see you next show." He goes, "Yeah, right."
Yeah, it's not happening.
But
it's not happening.
it's fun to see it come full circle and him start talking about the show. I hadn't seen, I mean, he's been creating shows for a minute now, but Shazam has turned into a banger.
season number 4. They're shooting right now as we speak.
Well, I met Damon John pre-Shark Tank days, and I met him right when they were about to do season 1, and I'll never forget him telling me, "We don't even think it's going to make it past 1 season." They just celebrated 11.
Wow.
That show's amazing.
Speaking of Damon John, this Grammys party. I'm sorry. Was it? No, not the Grammys. Oscar Gala. I just did. So if you look at my Instagram from the picture from that, the second picture on that, he's in the background like a creeper. I thought you would be the one to notice it and tag me, but you did it and no one did. And I'm like,
It's your photo?
Yes. And I'm like, and no one noticed it was him. I didn't want to do it myself because that's hella cheesy. But he's looking directly at the camera. And it looks like a creeper. And I'm like, how did no one notice this?
Which photo?
Look at the Oscar Gala.
Oh, this is New York.
I wasn't in New York recently.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to find the
It's
picture.
like the second picture from the top. I just posted no, there's 2 heat pictures. And then right after that one, I'm wearing like a black tux.
Oh, okay.
Now look at that
you got-
picture. Now look at the second one.
Where? I don't see him.
Scroll to the left. There's 2 pictures. There's one of me solo, and then there's one with me. Look in the back. Oh, you can't see it in that one?
No.
Oh, man. Hold on.
I
Here it
cannot
is.
see him.
Okay, because you know what? Because I didn't minimize the picture on Instagram. My bad.
Oh, I got to see the picture now.
I just used the I used the full length of that picture.
Shout out to Damon John, man. He's a good guy.
So here's the picture without using the full length. I meant to use the full length.
Oh, you got to repost that and tag him.
See, look at it.
Yeah.
Come
yeah,
on.
Yeah. You know what that look says? That look says, "Are you taking a photo without a shark?" That's what that says.
That looks like, hey, why don't you include me in this photo?
The cool part about Damon is that he's not just a celebrity. He's a true, like, genuine,
Cool dude.
he is a very cool dude.
Super
Entrepreneur.
cool.
Entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Do you realize that he refinanced his mother's house to get FUBU going?
Wow.
Like, she almost lost her house if it wasn't going to go. The guy's making T-shirts in his basement. And then the brand kind of fizzled out a little while, and then it kind of resuscitated again. And then he'd always been making moves. I met him in 2008.
Uh-huh.
And through some mutual connections here in Miami. You know how Miami's a small spot. And
Right.
we had met. We had the Hooters energy drink at the minute. We were trying to bring it to market, and that's what he does. I mean, he's what he's always done, is help take brands and blow them up. And
Right.
we met with him, and then went to the Shore Club on Sunday, and he rolled in with his crew. And I had read in his first book that he plays Monopoly with his staff, and it's a paid game. So it's $100 a head, so you have some skin in the game.
Uh-huh.
And it's usually on a Friday night with some cocktails and hang out, come over to his house, or we'll go play at the office or whatever it is. But the game of Monopoly allows you to see people's true colors. You see who gets angry. You see who cheats. You
See who's greedy.
Yeah.
Let me buy everything.
And he's fired motherfuckers over a Monopoly game.
That's crazy.
So he walks in. You know how the Shore Club's got, I don't know if the Shore Club's still open, but he used to have those beds out by the pool.
Yeah.
I mean, South Beach. Anyway, so he came up and had recognized the dudes we were with at the time, and So he sits down next to me and I said, so tell me about this Monopoly game. And he's like, you read the book? And I said, yeah, shit, let's play Monopoly right now. So he stands up, gives one of his handlers cash and goes, hey, go get a Monopoly board. Don't come back until you get one. I'm like, we're legit going to play Monopoly right here on the bed at the Shore Club on a Sunday afternoon with Damon John.
That's crazy.
And the guy never found a Monopoly board, but we ended up staying in touch. I still have his original email address, right? He's still the same one. And not allowed to say that on the air. Sorry, guys.
No.
Yeah. And
I've been in several settings with him before, like, and and said hi and just nonchalantly, hey, we know, been introduced. But that time, this thing was one that I actually talked a little bit more.
yeah, tell him I said what's up next time you see him. He's down here often.
Yeah.
He was The Power of Broke was his last book.
Great book. I actually have that book.
Yeah. And he did his book signing right here at Books and Books. And there were a few of us media people that were there. It was mainly fans that were there to see him, but Amaris Jones was there. She's a friend of his. I was there. We got a chance to sit down and chop it up about The Power of Broke, and always makes time for people. He's got a good camp around him too.
True.
He really does. He's got
That's key, man.
He's a marketer. He's also a talented celebrity, but he's also a businessman, an entrepreneur, but he's also a marketer. And yeah, I ran into him at a gig in San Diego a couple of years ago. They had him for the keynote, so that's kind of fun when I'm the MC and they're the keynote. Yeah. It's kind of like, remember me from the Shore Club? And
right.
Like, yeah, I remember you, Monopoly guy. No, but I had sent him a copy of my book and whatnot, and the clients were like, "You know him?"
Speaking of Monopoly, I'm looking at this picture on the wall.
Harder I work, the luckier I get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to get this place livening up a little more than it already was. That blank wall was driving me crazy.
Imagine.
Well, I'm going to Heat Game tonight. I haven't been to Heat Game forever. You'll be there tonight too.
I will. It's a 7:30 start, so yeah, it's an early one for us.
Is it 7:30?
Yeah, because last night was 8, and today's 7:30.
Oh, I thought tonight. That makes it even better. I'm like, I have to wait till 8 o'clock on a Saturday night.
I thought it was 8 as well, but no, I got.
Well, everybody's on Purple Miami time, so they get there. Man. They get there at halftime. I love that. That's actually become a really good bit that you guys do. Every single time he walks in at halftime. For those of you who don't follow Purple Miami, the guy is Miami's concierge.
He's dialed in.
Yeah.
He's definitely dialed in, and Purple just does it. He loves it, and my followers love it too. They're like, "Who is this guy, and why is he always late?"
Hilarious.
I'm like, he's a guy you need to know if you ever want to hook up in Miami.
Is true. And you're a celebrity.
Just in Miami.
That's true.
I'm sure he knows people in Vegas too, but like if you want to hook up in Miami, he's definitely a person you need to know.
Well, we're almost out of time. I'm hungry, and we're going to go to lunch. So
yes,
let's wrap this thing up here. I think we'll button things up, put a nice little bow on it by talking about this rumor that I heard about you starting a podcast.
Yeah, man. Definitely looking forward to getting into that business. We're doing 5 years on the radio.
I was about to say, you've been on the radio since God spoke to Moses.
Right. And not being on the radio at the time, but wanting to still get that message out and engage with people. And interact with people. So
with the relationships you're building, it'd be ludicrous not to.
Yeah, I think, and now's the time.
Speaking of ludicrous, that'd be another great guest.
I'm sure. He's remember Lulu was an old radio guy. He was an old radio host before he started rapping.
Can we talk about we're going to wrap this up?
So he was killing in Atlanta on the radio, and then that's how his popularity. Transition into.
Doesn't Gretman bring him in for the group experience at Food and Wine? Wasn't he just did that last Sunday?
No, Pharrell does.
No, I'm pretty sure it's ludicrous because I remember asking. Yeah, Gretman, one of Gretman's.
So no, Gret and Pharrell have that restaurant together. Is that Swan?
That's Swan over there
yes,
in Design District.
Yes. Have you been there?
I have not. I hear great things about it. I mean, again, anything Grutman cannot lose. So,
oh my gosh, man,
it's just shout out to Dave Grutman, dude, Miami's director of fun.
My gosh, man.
He's about to reopen the old Firestone on Alton and 15th. So he's turning that Firestone gas station, the Firestone, the tire place, into the Grutman food court. So there's going to be like a food hall. Yeah, man. Shout out to Dave Grutman, the director of fun. Every time he sits down for a media appearance, he was on, who was it? Nightline was here last week.
Yeah.
Before that, our homegirl MJ was here for Super Bowl and whatnot.
NFL Network.
Yeah, he's like, they're here to talk about the fun business.
Guy is definitely the right person for that business.
Hey, listen, if you're not following mDot, you need to be able to do that. And that's Instagram is the best place to do that, right?
Yeah, I interact a lot on Instagram.
It's just DJ mDot, just like it sounds.
Yeah.
MDOT. And it used to be different. I like this just DJ mDot now.
It used to be I am DJ mDot, but and when DJ mDot became available, I jumped on it.
Oh, it was something that was not available
Yes,
before.
that's why I had to go with something else. So, I pay attention to, who, I don't know, doesn't use their page anymore and who releases the name or whatnot. So
Right.
I'm waiting for that to happen on my Twitter, actually, because I still have I am DJ mDot.
That's all right. It still works. It flows on here. Well, listen, we're going to get this show going sooner rather than later. I would assume that you might be able to get a guy named Jamie Foxx on the show. So that'll be exciting.
Yeah, man, that's going to be crazy.
It really is. So stay tuned with that. He was Mikey also interned for DJ Khaled way back in the day, like 99 Jams days. So you're still in touch with these cats. So we're going to leverage these relationships and start having conversations via mDot's podcast, the name of the podcast, the first episodes, all that fun stuff is coming very, very soon. So make sure you're staying connected with not only myself, the Podcast Launch Lab will be making that podcast a reality. So we're really fired up, and it's a real privilege to make that show happen for you, dude.
You got to roll with the best, man. You are the best.
Likewise.
At making stuff like that work. So, I got to roll with the best, bro.
I tell you, listen, we've been putting a plan together since like 7th grade.
Yeah.
This guy and I, we had these like fake drums called drumsticks.
We did.
They're like hit sticks and a piano. And we wrote a song about DARE, the whole drug program.
Right.
Should we do it for him?
No.
We shouldn't do it for him real quick?
No, I think we might lose followers.
I agree with that. Well, dude,
but if we if we had the recording, bro, that would be dope.
Oh, that would be. How did we record that?
I'm not sure, man.
We captured it. We didn't have like a video or anything.
No.
You know what it was?
Because we had to, didn't we have to perform it?
Yes, that's what I was saying. Yes, we had to. Well, that was cool.
That's cool.
We had a piano. What did we do on the piano though?
It must have been like one of those I don't know, programmed like if you hit button number 3 on the drums.
No, it wasn't.
And then
that piano's still in my house, believe it or not.
Oh wait, it wasn't a Casio?
No, we were on a real
legit piano.
Remember the white cream piano?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we had the hit sticks too, but we made the song, and then I think what we did, if my memory serves me correctly, I don't really remember that. I remember us doing it for sure. I remember us sitting there, got a can of Coke on the piano, and like we're like, all right, let's write this song here. And then we're like, well, how are we going to record it? I'm pretty sure I had some sort of tape recorder. Remember back in the day, you push the 2 N buttons.
Yeah, man. You press that black
like,
button with that red button.
Yeah, it was like, shh.
Yeah, don't say
okay,
nothing.
ready? And we got a little bit of tape left. It's in the beginning, so we can rewind it and just hit play and hear our song.
But we had to perform it, didn't we? Didn't we have to perform it in school? Did we not?
Yeah, we did. I think that's why it's ingrained in our minds.
Oh man.
I mean, my goodness. But this has been a good time, bro. You're gonna have to come back and hang out. We're gonna get your show going.
Let's get it, man.
Maybe we'll just start a show of our own too.
I'm excited.
Like the Seb and mDot show.
Hey, man.
We can make those songs too. People keep coming back. Hey, listen, make sure you're connected with the one and only Mr. DJ mDot. His life is just all, speaking of fun, all kinds of fun, tagging along with the one and only Jamie Foxx and all of his adventures, and, of course, keeping us entertained and keeping the crowd energized at our beloved Miami Heat games. I'm looking forward to Brooklyn's in the house tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to my man Billy Gill from the Lebertard Show. He's one of the producers and personalities on the Lebertard Show.
What up, Billy?
We're talking right now.
Nice. All right, dude. Come back soon, will you?
Yeah, most definitely. Thanks for having me, bro.
Let's go get some food and tell Jamie I said what's up.
Let's get it.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Beyond the Story podcast. Be sure to appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show. This way you'll get updates as new episodes become available. If you feel so inclined, please leave us a review. Be sure to appreciate it. Signing off from the podcast, LaunchLab.com studios. We'll talk to you next time.